The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, a book you should read. This book is not a story with a faithful hero, happy ending, dazzling love, or even a single likable character. But it's a story with murders, affairs, racism, wild parties, drama, and mystery. And I think that's a lot more interesting anyways. You should read this book because it is so bad that it's good. And I don't say this because author F. Scott Fitzgerald is a bad storyteller. I say this because he has the ability to create characters that you quite frankly want to punch in the face. This story is filled with purely antagonists and is brutally honest to the human nature, and you just can't stop reading it. This story takes place during the Roaring '20s, the first time that more people lived in cities than farms. The economic growth caused an uproar of wild, expensive parties with the explosion of jazz alongside it. At the time, materialism, vanity, shallowness were all common traits in people. It was just money, money, money all of the time. And it's obvious that those kind of ideals can really mess somebody up. Examples of messed up people from this book include, well, every character. Let's start with Nick Carraway, the unreliable narrator from the Midwest telling himself he is an honest man when quite frankly even that is a lie. Nick has no ambition and he sits and watches while the world falls apart in front of him. And next we have the great J. Gatsby, an incredibly rich, monstrous liar who tears marriages apart and earns money from illegal activities. Oh, and everything he says about himself is a lie, all the way up to his name, which is actually James Gatz. But is that a lie? Now we have Daisy Buchanan, a deceiving, shallow, gold-digging cheater and murderer, masked by her angel-like appearance. Next we have Tom Buchanan, the aggressive, cheating racist who was born into amazing riches and married to Daisy Buchanan while also having an affair with Myrtle Wilson. Next we have Myrtle Wilson, the mischievous and sensual mistress of Tom Buchanan from the poor life of the Valley of Ashes, is a gold-digging cheater who is eventually murdered while running from her abusive husband. And finally, George Wilson, the shy and bland gas station worker who is so hungry for power that the devastation of his wife's affair and death caused him to murder Gatsby and eventually commit suicide. This story has many layers, but it focuses a lot on one thing: dreams. Gatsby has this dream, an image in his head made up of scenes from the past and his fantasies from the future.
He stretched out his arms toward the dark water in a curious way, and, far as I was from him, I could have sworn he was trembling. Involuntarily I glanced seaward and distinguished nothing except a single green light, minute and far away, that might have been at the end of a dock.
That green light he's reaching for is the dream of Daisy. Yes, Daisy, the lying, cheating murderer who happens to live next to the dock with the green light. But that's not how Gatsby sees her. Gatsby sees her as perfection, sent from the heavens to come and steal him away to a perfect life. Eventually, Daisy and Gatsby met up, and the aftermath of that dream coming true proved to be fatal. I mean, how does one rearrange their life after a dream has been accomplished? I mean, Gatsby's fantastically idealistic way of thinking really came to hurt him, for his dreams became meaningless and tragic once he found out that Daisy is not the person he made her out to be. His neglection of reality causes him to become the harshest perfectionist one could be. Gatsby's unshakable need for perfection drives the book to become the haunting drama that it is, causing the death of not one, not two, but three of the characters. It's exciting, it's new, it's old, it's everything, and it's set at the most exciting time. If that does not convince you to read the book, then maybe the mere fact that Fitzgerald is an amazing writer will make you read the book.
For example, Fitzgerald's descriptions of things were dazzling. When he was first describing Gatsby, he wrote, "It was one of those rare smiles with a quality of eternal reassurance in it that you might come across 4 or 5 times in life. It faced or seemed to face the whole external world for an instant and then concentrated on you with an irresistible prejudice in your favor." Another example is when Gatsby was awaiting Daisy's call that never came. It was described that, if that was true, he must have felt that he had lost the old warm world, paid a high price for living to with a single dream. He must have looked up at an unfamiliar sky through frightening leaves and shivered as he found what a grotesque thing a rose is, and how the raw sunlight was upon scarcely created grass. A new world, material without being real, where poor ghosts, breathing dreams like air, drifted about like ashen. Fantastic figure gliding toward him through the unformous trees. Finally, at the end of the book, in the last few sentences, the author really pulls together the theme and the symbolism. Gatsby believed in the green light, the orgastic future that year by year recedes before us. It eluded us then, but that's no matter. Tomorrow we will run faster, stretch out our arms farther, and one fine morning. So we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceasingly into the past.
No other book has caused me to feel so much emotion and dismay. Any book written that well deserves to be read. So, like one of the famous quotes in the book, remember that all the people in this world have not had the advantages you've had. One of those advantages being having access to this book. Read it.